Good morning, guys, and welcome to Unique Not Different with me, Shamla. And today I have Sebastian Ramsaran. Sebastian recently excelled in his CXC exam. Sebastian is visually impaired and he did an incredible feat going through his journey and he graduated with, not graduated, he excelled in his CXC. So today he's going to talk about his journey and, overcoming his visual impairment and in terms of, what he went through to succeed. So good morning, Sebastian. How are you doing?
Good morning. I am doing fine. How about you?
I'm fine, thank you. So, in terms of, okay, so first of all, let's get straight into it. How you excelled in your CXC exam, right? And I know you got distinction. So, can you tell us what how you performed in terms, especially with the distinction? Yeah.
Well, I got five distinctions
Wow.
in math, phys, chem, bio, and admath.
Right. And okay, five distinctions. Wow. Okay. So going through your journey through education, right? Obviously, being visually impaired, it was not as simple as it seemed, right? And accommodation and stuff had to be made. So, in terms of going from primary, then secondary school, how was that in terms of inclusion? And what you did or your parents did, to make the environment and also your teachers to make the environment inclusive in order to facilitate, your education.
Well, firstly, I would say that for the most part, I am glad that uh, the school, the schools mainly included me in their various activities, and for the most part, they didn't, how do I say, judge me or look down at me. Most of them, at least, didn't. But it was at times a challenge, especially to when you need to see, for example, to read textbooks. It was a bit difficult to see on the board as well as the measurements and lab equipment, such as reading off uh, burettes, test tubes, pipettes, etc.
Yeah.
Um, but I would like to say that my parents, firstly, they they guided me to an association called the Blind Welfare, which helped a lot. They blow up my textbooks to a larger print.
Yeah.
They also helped me at times in my primary school in getting an aid for me.
Mhm.
In addition, my parents also bought some assistive technology to in which I could place on top of my book. It's basically an electronic magnifier.
Mhm.
So it would make reading the textbooks and seeing the diagrams much easier.
Yeah. So it definitely comes down to, I guess, equipment and facilitating through, different, not only devices, but through textbook and, manipulating the textbook and reading and so on, right? So what would you say is the most, what is the most pivot point in terms of you transitioning from, let's say, primary to secondary, and then, having persons learning about you because obviously you went mainstream school, right? Asher Boys College. And how did your peers took it when they noticed that you were visually impaired?
Well, actually, funny story is that typically, I remember it's typically people don't immediately see that I'm visually impaired. I act like a normal member of society for the most part. I I don't need to use a cane. I was I'm glad that I am lucky actually to have enough sight to move about without a cane.
Mhm.
So people at first they thought I was a normal student,
Yeah.
but over time they learned my limits, what I can and cannot do.
Mhm.
Um, the transitioning between primary and secondary school, it was tough to an extent. I had to adjust to a new environment. I had to adjust to new people. I had to adjust to new subjects.
Yeah.
But again, they were accepting and my peers as well as my teachers were
Mhm.
very understanding and compassionate
Yeah.
and were eager to help me all all step of the way, every step of the way.
From your experience, right? What advice would you give to, I guess, students in general and also parents and not parents but teachers per se, as well as students when it comes to accommodating persons who are blind or visually impaired into the educational system?
Well, firstly, I would say from my experience, I am glad to have understanding people, but I see that the school system can they need to put in a little bit more measures to help people like me because again the visually impaired community and the disabled community we are a silent majority. There are a lot of us there and we are in the school system and the government needs to put in more measures to help us
Right.
because we are there. And uh, the advice I would give is firstly that no matter what your position is, no matter how much sight you have, you are capable. You are capable of anything you set your mind to.
Mhm.
And for the parents, I would say, the parents and teachers, I would say it is quote unquote different dealing with someone like me of being visually impaired, but it takes patience, it takes understanding, and it takes hard work. And also, I would like to say that we we might not be capable of everything, but we should not be treated as very different. We should also be included and given the opportunities as
Yeah.
normal students.
Sebastian, I have to wrap up now, but I know that you play instruments, and I know that you take pride in playing your instruments, and you put a lot of investment in it. And later on, I want to have you back in order to share, that aspect. But can you just tell us, apart from academics, I just mentioned that you play instruments, and can you tell us a little bit? And what is? I know that you had a milestone when it comes to playing, the instrument. Can you tell us a little bit quickly about that aspect of your life?
All right. Well, again, as I mentioned, I went to the Blind Welfare Association, and one thing they teach there is they allow us to learn an instrument, and they taught me keyboard from a very young age, and I don't know if it was seeing or experiencing other fellow blind individuals playing instruments. I also enjoyed listening to radio, but that kindled my love for playing an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
So over the years, I honed it, and I remember I think it was Form 3 in about 2020, I think. I played for Anthony Camona when he visited uh, Azure Boys College.
Awesome. That is so incredible. And quickly, in 30 seconds, can you tell us what are your your more recent goals? What is your next steps in life after this accomplishment?
Well, my future plans are I want to finish, keep Unit 1, keep Unit 2, eventually. Hopefully, I'll get a scholarship. I'm praying I'll get a scholarship. And I intend to study any STEM subject in university.
Awesome, Sebastian. Congratulations once again. Um, really fine distinction. When I read your bio, I didn't comprehend that, and when you told me, I was like baffled. So congratulations, and I definitely want you back in order to showcase your musical talent. So we'll definitely discuss that, guys. With that being said, I want to say thank you so much for tuning to this week's segment of Unique Not Different. Until next week, as I always say, be good, be good. Bye, everyone. Bye, Sebastian.
Thank you for having me.